things are.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gatecrashers. I am Vinny. This is Angela and Kim. As always, we are here to talk all about Beyond the Gates. Kim, how are you? How was your week?
Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. Just, we had some crazy weather that decided to hit Chicago over the past. We had like a dust storm thing. We had this tornado warning. There was at one point on my phone some sort of a fire warning thing. I'm like, can we not with this right now? And then today it was like 40 something degrees outside and cool. So I don't know anymore. I don't know. But
my daughter told me about the dust storm thing.
Oh no, that was all the just. I didn't see too much of it in my neighborhood in particular, but I know other places were just freaky stuff. Not my thing.
Wow.
It caused her to go down an internet rabbit hole where she deep dived into the Dust Bowl of the
oh boy,
early
there we go.
Yes. So
history lesson there. Oh boy.
Well, I mean, I have to say in Connecticut, it was like 60s and nice today. Should be nice tomorrow, but then we're going to get hit with some rain. So either way, Memorial Day looks to be okay. So
yeah, not much, as long as we have good weather for cookout time.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
And remember, folks.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, remember, folks, we are going to be here live next Monday. It is Memorial Day, but we will still be live. The soaps will probably be reruns, but we will be live.
Yeah, I wonder with that. With Beyond the Gates, is it going to be?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It just depends. Yeah. We won't know till Friday.
Yeah.
I
guess for
so.
Beyond the Gates, we'll know Thursday because they send it out Thursday.
Okay. Gotcha.
I need to start. Oh, you don't want spoilers. Never mind. So I was going to say, I get the promo on Thursday.
Yeah, you'll have to send it so I never get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in a place where I don't like necessarily being too spoiled for it. It depends. Sometimes I have an appetite for it. Other times it's just like, no, you know what?
Well, I mean, it's just it's the breakdowns and then the the episode descriptions that they put on the TV guide listing and then the promo. I see at the end of Friday anyway. So, but they send them out on Thursday. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I do want to say there is a great article up on Sportskeeda about, I know you write for Parade, Angela, but I do have to promote this. There was a great article on Sportskeeda about Mike Manning, his character Smitty. So check that out. I didn't realize Sportskeeda actually wrote about soap operas, but
I wasn't sure. I didn't realize they did that either.
But he did post it, and I retweeted it, and I also did take the time to say, I hope at some point you can come on Gatecrashers, and he liked the comment, so we'll see. I'm going to work on trying to get Mike Manning onto the show, but
we're talking about a lot of things that the man is interested in, so or involved with. So
I actually just did an article on Parade. It should be up on my Twitter right now. That's the during a daytime at night concert to raise money for St. Jude. And he's taking part, and he's going to co-host that.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, Lily Brooke O'Brien, who plays Lucy Young and the Restless, the young girl, she put it all together, and they're doing it at the Troubadour in West Hollywood, May 29th. And the day players are going. Carolyn Hennessy, Bradford,
I saw that. Yeah.
Yep. So there's an article about it up on my Twitter, and it looks like it's going to be a good night. And he's taking part in that. He's very, very charitable.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. He will also be at the Samantha's Friends event in September. I'm looking forward to that. I will be there as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But either way, folks, we are I do want to thank everybody for starting to watch this. Remember, Gatecrashers is on the same RSS feed now as Suds News and everything else on our network. It's on the same RSS feed. So go over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your favorite podcasts. We're on iHeart and Amazon, and there's a bunch of other ones. And it's all under Suds and Squared Circle Media, so check that out. as well, because you'll get them all there. Also, if you want to support the network, I never usually do these promos on this show for some reason, because I do them on Suds News and sometimes it slips my mind. But remember, folks, if you want to go ahead and support our show, support our network, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Suds Media and donate what you want, because it does go to help improve the network and help the show as well. Or go to patreon.com/Suds2Circle. All of our pre-recorded stuff goes up early and ad-free, and there's going to be a lot more stuff going up within the next couple months. I have one more final project to do for school. That'll be done this weekend, and then I'll be good to go to work on more content. So we're getting there, folks. We're getting there. Anyways, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room. New Ted. Keith D. Robinson took over the role from Maurice Johnson. We don't know the behind-the-scenes workings and why the recast was done, but it is Beyond the Gate's first recast. Mm-hmm. I gotta say, I'm not there yet. I'm not a fan yet. I don't think he has the gravitas, the aura of Maurice Johnson.
I think it's going to take a bit of an adjustment period, because the actors are, the way the character is being portrayed, very, very different. We have, sort of like the big booming voice, turtleneck Ted. We've gone from that to a very, very different style of acting and just very different demeanor, very different manners. But I will say I appreciated the scenes that, they kind of threw him in head first. He was having scenes, pretty heavy scenes right off the jump with Ava, and also with Leslie, and also with Kat. And I really enjoyed the scenes between him and Kat. I thought that they had really good, father-daughter dynamic, sort of. Those scenes I thought were very well, especially the actress who plays Kat. Holy cow, she was, killer in those scenes, I thought. But I just thought, okay, they've got a chemistry here that I can see, like a, familial sort of. And then even today's episode with the scenes with Eva, I thought, the one thing that took me out of the scenes today with Eva, I'm not sure why you would give your daughter for her birthday a picture of herself.
Yeah, we'll get there.
That was my one thing that kind of stuck in my brain. But other than that, the scenes in general, and I thought the chemistry was there between those actors. So I'm curious to see, the character kind of develop with the new actor. But I agree, there is just a noticeable shift, a noticeable change. And, it's interesting that it kind of took place in such a, in the thick of this really important storyline for, obviously Ted, the family, all of that. So I'm curious, but I don't know. I'm optimistic too.
My biggest fear is, and I know this was brought up a couple times by some of the people on, in the soap opera Twitter community. I feel like there's just the new Ted coming in and Keith D. Robinson coming in. He's almost like an exact mold of Andre and Jacob and Randy and Martin. Like, they all have the same type of look, the crew cut, the goatee. At least Maurice Johnson brought a different look, a different,
there was a different kind of energy. Voice. Yes. Now, I can see that. I can see that. And I admit that sometimes, even with just once in a while, we just kind of run into it where, I'll see, I don't know. It's one of those where sometimes I feel like I get a little lost in the shuffle sometimes, because, even, like Randy from the, the casino, sometimes, it's just, I don't know. It's like I see these guys and they're all just kind of, they, Maurice, he did bring in there's a different presence there. Yeah. I agree with you on that. So, it's an interesting kind of thing. But I was actually, when I was on Twitter earlier, someone was talking about just how, so many legendary characters we know and love from soaps that are other soaps, recasts, it's been happening since, forever.
Yeah, of course.
And it's just funny to think, like, seeing one just kind of happen, like, in real time. Because, like, heck, I remember, like, watching, like, when I was into All My Children, I remember my mom told me, oh, they used to have a different actress who played so and so back in the day, and I'm just like, no, wait a minute, no, like that doesn't make any sense. Like, how could there be like a different? Because she's so iconic in the role, and you see that happen so many times. So it's kind of neat that we get to see it, like just real soap opera, even like down to the role of
Yeah.
Ted is now being played by. It's so old school soap.
Which, yeah, no, it was great. And um, Angela, are you about to say something?
No, just it reminded me of that story of Joan Crawford. Her daughter was on a soap opera, and her daughter's appendix burst.
Oh, geez.
And so she had to take time off.
Mm-hmm.
And Joan Crawford insisted that she would play her daughter's role for her on this soap opera.
Oh, for Pete's sakes.
And her daughter was like this young, early 20-ish ingenue. And Joan Crawford was very, very old by this point.
Right.
But it was Joan Crawford. A soap opera's not going to tell her no. And of course, it was an absolute nightmare. And it was when soaps were live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. Joan Crawford, she was the one that was the subject of the movie Mommy Dearest, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, that wouldn't work for me, dog.
Yeah, no, it didn't work for anybody. Everybody was like, why is this happening? Yeah, it was crazy. It was Secret Storm. She played her.
Could you imagine if Twitter was around back then and they saw her as the recast?
I know. They if somebody is even slightly, they think too old.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean that comes up with the twins, Samantha and
I mean
Tyrell. Tyrell.
I don't know. To me, Tyrell, I can see him as a believable high school kid to a degree. It depends on the scene.
High school kids.
Yeah, I don't know. With her, I feel like she's not so much like I could see her a couple years older, but hey, it's.
But remember, the kids on 90210 were in their 30s playing teenagers.
Oh yeah, so, and One Tree Hill, they had 30-somethings playing, 15-year-olds. It's nature of the beast. It's what happens. So.
Yep.
Yeah. No, but
it is what it is.
People will pounce
in
social media. Yeah, you're gonna see that no matter what. You can't please everybody.
I'm willing to give the new Ted a chance. Like I said, I just don't see it. He doesn't pass the test for me, and that's just. But that's coming from wrestling. I see somebody with a good aura compared to somebody who's a cookie cutter of someone else. But that's we'll see. I'll give him a chance.
Yeah.
What choice do we have?
That's true.
That's the thing. They're kind of
I do not have Michelle Valjean's ear, so
no.
If she's watching,
and
the
he's
show,
already, we've got his, the credits, changed pretty fast too. They got that new picture and the new, they had that locked and loaded and ready to go right away.
Yep.
New photo and everything. So, yep, just where we're at. But I will say that the scenes. I still got to give kudos to the actress who played Colby Muhammad, I believe, who plays Kat. Because she's been killing it lately. I've become more of a Kat fan than recent. I love that she's kind of playing out this sort of, obviously, she's got this like intuitive sense and has for a long time when it comes to everything relating to Eva, to Leslie. But just her digging in, her playing like, she should just be a cop. Make her a cop. Put her in that police station because she's killing it right now. I'm just like, I'm going to take up my phone. I'm going to start recording this, turning it over to the cops. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I appreciate that kind of way that they've taken her character.
What's going to happen if and when it comes out that Eva and Kat were switched at birth? And
oh yeah, no, that's going to be
really Leslie's daughter and Eva is Nicole's daughter.
I mean, at this point, I don't see Leslie, I don't see her, honestly, as a parent, biological parent to any child, based on how she has been because I don't know. I've seen someone pointed out on social media how she said, like, when she was talking about, like, Eva's birth, just saying how I went into labor with her at night and she was born. Just the way that she was just, and just the attitude that she has, just the cavalier way that she was talking about her daughter potentially involved in a hit and run, and it's not. There's something amiss there, and I really want to know what it is. But I honestly do not feel like she gave birth to that girl, and I just don't, and I'm just very curious to see the twist that's going to come into play here.
Thursday, Nicole, Ted, and Kat confront a chilling possibility. What if Leslie's lies are just beginning?
Ooh, intrigue.
And on Friday, Ted corners Leslie with a devastating accusation.
Well, maybe we'll find out a little bit. I don't know. It's just my gut is telling me, no way. I mean, you leave that poor girl sitting alone on her birthday. That's not what her mama would do. Like, come on. When she was just sitting there eating her little cupcake
Joan
by
Crawford.
herself.
Joan Crawford was saying, crazy mothers will do many things.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Folks, the chat is open. Feel free to jump in the chat room and join us in the conversation. No matter where you're watching, I do want to let you guys know that you can feel free to subscribe and hit that notifications bell, especially if you're watching up on YouTube, because we are, it'll help with the algorithm, of course, but also help that you are supporting Beyond the Gates, because we started right from the very beginning with GateCrashers, and we want to not only grow the fandom of the show, but grow the fandom of our network as well. But either way, hit that subscribe button and hit that notifications bell, because on this network you'll get anything from wrestling, soap operas, and anything in between. And going forward, we're going to get some more content going up as well. I did try TikTok live earlier today, so might be incorporating a little bit of that in. I'm not sure. The gray hairs in my beard show you that I'm not necessarily the demographic for TikTok, but who knows? But I've been trying different ways, and then we're going to get some more content going up soon. Either way, thank you all for tuning in thus far. We've been talking about new Ted. We've been talking about Eva. And how about the scene this week of Leslie and Bill? And can I tell you, when you see two powerhouse heels collide, good gravy.
Oh yeah, no, those scenes were something else, and you can just see, just like you just said, very very powerful, well done scenes. You're waiting for it to happen, and then when it did, like, that confrontation was just great. And I liked that spark. Also, I'm just gonna say, Bill and Smitty, even their scenes were just, I was, throw Bill in, like, different. I love when they just throw him in to cause, like, chaos, and just kind of, create a stir and, stir up some dust and stuff like that. And when he gets to interact outside of, scenes just with him and just with Haley, because I'm still, that grouping is still kind of lost on me. I'm not really, but, you throw Bill in with, like you said, with Leslie, or even the scene with Smitty, and it just brings, like, another, I really appreciated those moments.
Yeah. Timon Kyle Durrett, I think is his name, the guy that plays Bill. He's been doing a fantastic job. He's got the aura around him. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody that has that aura. And I'll get off my soapbox, but I just feel like he passes that test where you can go. He passes the airport test. Let me put it that way. You can go through the airport and see him, and hey, he's somebody.
That's true.
So
that's true.
That's my test. Call it a Vince McMahon test. What can I say? That's where that's where I got it from. But either way, how did you like that Martin extended the olive branch to Ava.
I appreciated that a
I
lot.
liked it.
I think that honestly, that's probably like the most. Martin has been having some moments lately that's been like elevating his status in my eyes. Because for a while I was just kind of sour on, the character. I wasn't, but you put him in that moment with Ava when he is just so like, you're still like, related to me. He approached the situation in a way that I was just really appreciative of. He just, and then introducing her to the fam and just being all, embracing and, just, I really appreciated that. I thought that was a really good, you know, move. Having her just kind of even like get to do the hairstyling,
Yeah.
with in and have that. I mean, I don't know. Some people were saying that it's a little bit rushed, but it's also just like, but she is still, part of the. I liked that, them embracing her in such a way.
I
I
think
appreciated that.
it's more along the lines of after Martin saw Leslie kind of turn her back on Ava,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
when everything kind of clicked into place for
Yeah.
him.
Because that was
Cat,
a brutal.
obviously, it's going to take a long time, and that may
Yeah.
never come around until at
Right.
some point in the future. But um, when 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 Martin and Vernon saw, like, it's creating a very weird dynamic, which I really like, because on one side you have Vernon and Martin, witnessing Leslie, berate Eva and turn her back on
Mhm.
Eva. So they're
Mhm.
kind of sympathetic. And,
Yes.
even Vernon goes up to Leslie and says, "You're no parent. How could you say you're a parent when you're talking to
Yep.
your, you know, like
I
this?"
love how
And
Vernon just kind of like, just said that just so just, it's like him and Anita just have those like moments where they just, it's like they cut through glass and they just cut through all the static and they just say what it is and it's so on point and
and
it's
on,
like
on
short and sweet and simple. And
and
he
on the
had that
complete
moment with her.
and on the complete opposite side, you have Anita telling her, "You will never be a Dupree." Or
Right. Which,
so,
I'm sorry, Anita, as wise and lovely as you are, famous last words. You'll never be that to me was just a big flag. Like, okay, you're not going to be saying that a few weeks from now.
well, she may not be a Dupree, but she'll be a Richardson.
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah,
just
but
the way, her just, you will never. It's like, okay, you are just kind of sealing your own fate here with this girl. She is going to be, you know, she's going to be part of that group. So, just kind of sealed it there. But still, just no, I really appreciated though, just because those scenes in the diner when Leslie is just kind of like tearing her a new, and it just, I mean, your heart just broke
Mm-hmm.
for it, and it just solidifies with me that like, how could you possibly do that to your own child? Just like for just the way that entire, it's like, yeah, okay, that's just, I really appreciated both Martin and Vernon in that moment, just kind of, rallying around. And, the hairstyling thing was super cute, I thought, and then, like Samantha, like kind of like lighting up and being like, wait, that's like a salon that like, everyone should go to. It's just, that was a sweet kind of family moment that I enjoyed. It was
Yeah,
nice seeing that.
I agree. I agree.
Hmm.
Um, I thought it was great how Martin took the initiative,
Hmm.
and
Just
I
even like he like got down on one knee and was just like talking at her level and just like, hey, listen, like just it was very Big Brother and it was very sweet
I think Martin kind of had a an epiphany
because he
with all
did,
this coming
Mister.
out,
Yeah,
which we
because
saw.
now he's not running for office
Well,
or
that's
has
what I was
no.
just going to say. Yeah,
Yeah,
he decided to, not run for president. He decided to focus more on family,
which,
and
yeah,
and a lot
I
of it
mean,
has to do with the nightmares that he's having.
nightmares, but also too, I mean, he made a good point about how with everything that shook out, family business just being like aired for everybody to like learn and find out about, I mean, obviously like he's got these nightmares, he has his own reservations, but then to see it all play out in his parents' marriage, see it happen to Nicole, see her just having to like wrestle with, all of that and just being in like that scrutiny, I think just like set off alarm bells in his head and he's just like, I can't, I'm going through this. I can't imagine like, putting my kids up against that kind of scrutiny. It was like a change for him. And it's like,
Yeah,
I'm glad he heard it. I'm glad he figured it out. because you still have nightmares, dude, and you were like really gung ho about this whole thing, but at least now he's kind of had a change of heart in that aspect. Because we still don't necessarily know what his big dark deep secret is, but we're getting hints and we're getting more and more, and that's not that would be unwise to try and make a run for highest office of the land when you got all that stuff and creeping in the background.
Exactly,
not a good idea.
All right, so we did get some casting news this week that they're fleshing out the Articulettes.
Yes.
Anita's group from back in the day.
Can we just talk about Anita's reaction when she got the call back from her band? I'm blanking on the band member's name who's going to be in contact with her and visiting and everything, but
Tracy?
That was
Tracy.
I think so. Tracy, thank you. But her Tony's reaction, like, just that whole scene where you think that she's going to be disappointed, and then she's just so, like, she ran the whole gamut of emotions when she realized that her friend wanted to actually, like, reunite and talk. It was just, I loved that moment. Like, that was, like, I had a phone call, and that just, that was the best phone call I've ever, I was just like, oh, I'm so happy for you.
Yep, they're fleshing out the Articulettes, I think, and one of the women answered the phone and then hung up on Anita.
Yeah. So there's it's not going to be all sunshine and smiles. You're going to have some drama and twists and stuff. But it was nice seeing that, like, one at least is willing to come to the table and speak to her again, and just I'm curious to see how that's all going to shake out. I feel like those scenes are going to be awesome. But just in that moment, I was just so happy for Anita. I was like, yay, you get a win. You go, girl.
They're really cute in the promo too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Vernon.
Yeah.
Won't I get a thing in this? No.
Yeah.
And even Vernon and Anita, I'm just cute moments. The piano scene when she's singing and she tries to get him to sit down with her and also sing. And I didn't realize Clifton, I didn't realize that he actually has a very good singing voice and was, pretending to sound incredibly off key and because I was like, that takes some effort. That takes some work to be a good singer and have to sound like you're horribly bad. I feel like that would take a little bit of effort. But no, that was such a cute little just Vernita. I think that's their ship name, and I just appreciate them so much.
Okay, that's... No, that was really good. I'm enjoying the stories, and we saw Kat record the conversation she had with Leslie, where Leslie throws Ava under the bus and says, Ava's the one that ran her off the road, yada, yada. And then Kat automatically goes right to Jacob and says, I've got this recording. I'm going to email it to you. And he's like, well, where's the evidence? Where's the proof? Well, it's right here. She admitted to all of it. Of course, that doesn't mean anything because it's only hearsay, which we found out today when Jacob called Leslie in to question her, and she's like, well, do you have any evidence? Are you gonna, arrest me or whatever? And he's like, no, just I wouldn't blab around saying anything about your daughter running anybody off the road on a motorcycle.
Yeah. Just I love, like, but when Leslie is like, recanting the whole, like, she's almost like reveling in it. Like the whole just taking the helmet off and just, like, rolling up and, just not, it's like, oh, that's so creepy. Like, you are just basically like living in the fact that you ran someone off the road and just like reliving that experience and kind of enjoying it for yourself. And that's just very creepy.
Now, if this was Days of Our Lives, if this was Days of Our Lives, each of Leslie's wigs would have the different personality with the wig.
Probably.
I mean, obviously, we know that she changes her name based on whatever wig she's wearing, but
and that's becoming like a running sort of thing. I love that how everyone calls her on the names and how she like I don't even know what name she actually has. That's like a running gag with her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean we don't know because
it's true.
Ted will call her Dana, Bill calls her Leslie, you know, and obviously we knew that Sherry was the fake name that she gave Nicole, and then Anna was the fake name that she gave Kat.
Yeah.
So is it Leslie David, Dana Leslie? Is it
it's all four of them, and she just picks them out randomly, like
yeah.
out of the hat.
And what's funny is that this is not a multiple personality or DID storyline.
No,
It's just she's acting like different.
She's got aliases.
Yeah,
she's cray. But I appreciate like the they do bring in just like because like a character like this could also rub you the wrong way and get annoying or get old, or the shtick could get just kind of ridiculous. But each time she gets like these little moments, I don't know. I think it's just the testament to the acting, because she cracks me up and she entertains, and she's still like like a villain that's like driving you nuts, and also just like but also just when she's watching the scary movie and is just reacting to it in real time, that scene just slayed me when she's just like, "What are you doing? You tripped over your own feet." Like, just and then she gets spooked when someone shows up at her door. It's just like you have like these little moments of just comedic sort of to just peppered in and balance, and it's a fun ride with her, even though you don't necessarily it's just and kudos to Trisha Mann Grant.
Yep.
Because just killing it across the board, and she has chemistry with just about anybody that you put her in front of too. I mean, any all of the characters that she's even today with Jacob. Just I love just seeing her just like get to play in the sandbox with all these other characters and just like get to just because it's entertaining as hell. It's so fun to see, and despite the fact though that it's just I don't know, it's so difficult seeing those scenes with her and Ava because they do break your heart. Ava especially,
And I like the fact that Ava's kind of getting set up now. Ted is kind of taking accountability. He's getting her an apartment. He's got her into the
stepping it up.
Her into that.
I will say though, with Ted, there was that kind of moment where, and this is previous to the recast, when he goes to the club when Nicole is there, and I don't know, that moment to me was a little tough to swallow when he basically just like kind of resolved, next year at this time we're going to be celebrating our anniversary together. I'm just like, dude, you got to give this time a little time and space to heal. Like, she doesn't. He was coming on a little too confident that they were just on track for. It's like, bud, you should maybe like cool off a little bit. I felt like he was a little just too confident in his ability to win her back when everything is so raw, and she like just barely like kind of managed to get out of the apartment to go and like have mimosa with her with her sister and her friend. It's like, just give her a little bit of breathing room, bud. Like, and then having Ava there on top of it too. It's like, damn, if I was Nicole, I'd be like, I don't even want to look at your face right now, let alone hear you talking about potentially, reconciling with like, what are you even saying to me right now? How can you? Because that just seemed a little overconfident and a little too. I needed to see more humble, more like apologetic, less. Yeah, I'm going to win you back. I don't think we're ready for that yet. At least I wasn't.
Agree. I agree with you on that to a point, because you're right. He came off very, very strong after even the whole time.
It's just like it's so raw still.
Right.
And but it was just like
that's why it's like I really like the scenes with Nicole and Vanessa, with Nicole and Kat, when Kat is just there kneeling down and hugging her. Even Nicole and Danny, and just the whole thing where everybody's supporting Nicole, because
Vanessa even being the one to like tell her like you can't sell the house just yet. Like, let's give it some time. And if you decide to do it, then we'll take the money and we'll go somewhere and we'll do a big trip. But don't do it right now. Like, just trying to keep it because she knows. It's like she knows. And people like I don't know. I see people going after Vanessa just because they say that she's a hypocrite because she's the one who's like running around fooling around with whoever and not really in her own marriage. Who is she to talk? But it's like that's who the character is. She's still supportive of her best friend during this whole thing. She's allowed to be that person. I'm
Well,
Team Vanessa all the way. I really like this character a lot, and
well, there's also a different dynamic because if you look at the relationship between Vanessa and Doug, today they
yeah,
basically spelled it out and said, you
right,
know, I I find other guys, I have other guys, you
yeah. And
may
for her
not
to
have other
actually
girls,
like
but there's something
him
there.
say you finally said it out loud. I mean,
Yep.
it's like, it's like, yeah, okay. So she sleeps around, and she's established it. Her husband knows or is aware. And now they've said the silent part out loud. I just don't like, I didn't like seeing people going after her for her just being like, the supportive bestie for trying to help her friend through all of this infidelity stuff.
And
Because it's like,
and not to mention,
she,
if you look at Chelsea is, wants to be in a throuple or something to that effect. So
yeah,
there are different ways. And okay,
yeah. I believe that they put.
here's my
I think
sex
it's
therapist coming out.
Yeah,
Um,
pansexual, I think, is the term or the identifier for her. I believe is that what the writers have kind of is pansexual, which I've
I
only
don't
ever
know who
seen
would be
that.
attracted to a pan, but it's
I
um,
remember seeing that same term on the show Schitt's Creek, which I don't know if you've ever tuned into before, but it's
I
just
yeah, I've seen that.
yeah, yeah, just that general sort of attraction to the people, the why, not the label. Just and I appreciate though that like someone mentioned, yeah, she identifies as a pansexual character, and that's just a really it's a cool facet, and I really appreciate that the show is kind of they offer up all these different sort of perspectives on relationships.
Well,
They're not
folks, if you're
they're not
having
afraid to just spotlight and showcase and not make a thing out of it, just being like this is how it is,
well,
which is
folks,
like really refreshing.
if you're having issues in the bedroom or you're thinking about your sex life, you can visit one of our sponsors. Are you having problems in the bedroom? Are you having problems with your sex life? Well, I know just who to talk to, and that's Lori. CoachingByLori.com is where you could set up voice, video, or text sessions to talk about sex, to talk about intimacy, kinks, fetishes, taboos, fantasies, or your sexuality. You could talk about coming out and what to expect when you come out. Lori is a sex therapist and talks about your sexual health. Lori's offering all new clients 20% off their first session with the coupon code WELCOME. That's Coaching by Lori, LORIE.com. Coupon code WELCOME, WELCOME, for 20% off your first session. All right. So if you are having problems in the bedroom, contact Lori. Maybe we can get her on Beyond the Gates to talk to Vanessa and Doug about their relationship or
Yeah.
either way. We did lose Angela. Unfortunately, might have been some internet issues, but she'll be back next week as well. If she doesn't get back this week, either way. But either way, I do like how they're kind of weaving things in and out of the story. We see
Mm-hmm.
and we see the characters interacting with different people. That that Joey and Doug have the thing, and Joey's now going after Vanessa.
Yep.
Um, but you also saw Pamela and Danny go to the casino or just the room with the poker table.
Yeah, and those
You
were
know,
some fun scenes. Got to
yeah.
see them kind of, drinking it up and trying to, with the gambling and all of that. And these are the coins. We keep these because you look at these chips, and then this is going to be the rent for our new. I love Danny being like the voice of reason there, when you got Pamela just trying to like, no, let's. And then but she wakes up to it, and she's smart because like like just those were cute scenes. Those were cute scenes. Though I will say this, and I love Katie McLean to absolute, death. She is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I have trouble with Pamela's accent. I'm not really sure what accent she's trying to go with the character, but we kind of got this like it's like she's trying to like land on how the character's supposed to talk, and I don't know. Sometimes it feels a little, I don't know, kind of it's a little funky. It's like just kind of
Yeah,
find the voice
I
for her.
can't tell whether it's some kind of a European accent or something that was
Yeah,
supposed to be regal,
yeah.
or
I'm
yeah,
not too sure
I
myself, but
caught that
it kind
too.
of takes me out of it a little bit, and it's like we don't need it, just
Right.
but I just I don't know, I just that's the one little I love, but still, it's so cute just seeing like that friendship and definitely seeing, where those characters are going to go together. And heck, even we got that scene today with her and Diego, which was kind of fun and kind of interesting.
Yeah, like that scene today with her and Diego was really kind of,
It was a little out of
it
left
was
field, but I was
confusing
curious to see where it was going to go. Like,
because when
I
she first comes in, he grabs her and kisses her and just dips her to make Vanessa
yeah,
jealous, obviously.
to make Vanessa jealous.
But
But
then
then
the
it
way
just
they
kind
were
of
talking, I almost thought like she was like his mistress or something. Is
I
like
was
it
yeah, I
was a
wasn't
dom
it was
sub relationship type of thing where she's like, I don't like to mix person, business and pleasure, and
yeah.
our
I don't know.
I
It was just kind of an
that was so
odd sort of,
confusing.
but I did notice like some like a chemistry, a spark there. It was just interesting seeing those two characters together because up until now, Diego's just kind of been just like random attractive dude at the club who is kind of into Vanessa and kind of just doing. But I was just like, oh, okay, you're trying to make her jealous. Oh, okay, you're gonna. I don't know. It was just kind of an interesting little tack
He's a
on
personal
that I was
trainer,
kind of
so
surprised.
yeah,
Yes, yes. But it was just interesting to kind of see it, and I'm curious to see if it's going to turn into something else or not. But
yeah. I want to see
I
where they
I
go.
will say in terms of where I want to see where they're going to go, we got the whole Derek and Ashley, and we also have Andre and Danny, and Andre and Danny. My gosh, I love them. I'm rooting for like just the. But
Here's what's
I
going to
feel like
happen.
now Ashley's going to get thrown into the mix now too because we've
Yeah.
got so they're re-upping that kind of triangle it seems, which
Well, they're doing it. It's not going to be Derek, Ashley, and Andre. It's going to be Ashley, Andre, and Danny. Because
yeah,
here's what's going to
yeah,
happen. Obviously,
yeah.
we see that Derek and Ashley are going to break up. They're if not broken up
And
already.
those scenes, oh man, I mean, I just,
Those
I
were his
hate.
best scenes. Those were his best scenes that he's
Yeah,
had this entire run.
yeah. He was given something to kind of work with, and he really kind of he did. Your heart did go out to the poor guy. He's there
Yeah,
trying to buff the scratches off the fridge. And I come from a place too where like I've got my stuff and I've got my space and I like having it, and I could feel just that uncomfortable tension of just having someone in your space that just. But even so, I was just like, Ashley, honey, he is trying. He is doing his best.
I, yeah, I get it because when I got married, my wife moved into my apartment. Now, granted, she moved from Ohio to Connecticut,
Mm,
so, but again, it's her coming into my space. I like have things done my way, whatever. And I gotta
mhm.
say, I'm sorry, but nobody, whether you're a guy, I'm sorry, Derek. First of all, is a putz. That's all there is to it.
He is.
He's
He's a
just,
golden retriever come to life. He's just kind of a
I think he's worse than a
puppy.
golden retriever. Golden retrievers are smart. I don't think I've ever actually seen anybody in the history of cleaning use steel wool on a refrigerator.
Yeah, that
What
was a
kind of
little.
stain or sticky was there that you needed fucking steel wool? Like, that wasn't even a
Yeah.
Brillo pad. That was just actual steel wool. It looked like
Yeah.
barbed wire in his hand.
Could have
Um,
just been holding some like Tide or Febreze or something.
right, or Mr.
I could have
Clean.
understood it if there was some sort of steel wool product placement that we needed to see. Then that would make sense.
Yeah, like I don't get it. I'm sorry, but I've never seen anybody use that kind. And
Yeah, that's kind of a dopey move. But he was.
uh,
It's like it came from a place of just trying and failing. He was just failing on across
I
the board,
hate to
but he
see how
was
he
trying
cleaned
to
the
make an effort.
bathroom.
Oh gosh, I know. But it's like he's trying, and then she is just what was that one line that she had to him that just felt so just like I can't buff the, you can't take the scratches off of me or something like
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yep.
she just got very, and I was like, whoa, Ashley, girl, okay. Like, you are struggling with this, like, whole situation right now. And then for Derek to just say flat out, like, I'm glad we figured this out before, like, I was about to propose. I mean, your heart couldn't help but break a little bit for the guy in that moment, but,
Yeah.
in it just in that, because it's like he was trying, and it wasn't, but, I wonder if they're going to go like Dark Derek now, or, what's going to kind of be on the
Where he's going to
horizon with
turn
him.
from a firefighter to an arsonist.
Something like that. I just feel like, he's there, he's packing up his little bag. I worry, he's going to go down a
And he
dark path.
just moved out from his roommates. He didn't re-up his
Yeah.
lease.
Yeah.
He'll be living in the firehouse.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. Maybe not a golden retriever. Maybe he's a Dalmatian. I don't know. I don't know. It's just, those scenes were just kind of tough to watch, and at the same time, but even coming from a place of, like, being sensitive about my stuff, I was like, Ashley, I know he's failing miserably, but come on, he is at least trying to clean. He is at least making an effort.
But
he
you
could
know
have
what?
just
You
said
could
screw
even,
it and
I
not
mean,
even tried.
even after 3 years in, you could ask my wife. There are things I get on her about cleaning and certain ways that I've been used to doing things in my place.
Well, it was a test for it's a test for a couple, for sure.
Right.
And that apartment is very small. That's another thing too. They look like they were
Yep.
just completely on top of each other in that little space, and it's just. But I mean, then we had cut to Ashley, drinking at the bar, and then there in walks in, Andre, having just had his little convo with, and Danny comes from a very, I completely was like, I get it with Danny and her just, her complete reservation about letting, Andre in more fully than what they have, because it's just like, she just, went through this major thing with, and she is just trying to find herself and not let herself be all consumed by another man. And it totally made sense
But
for
that's
her
what's
to
going
say
to end up costing her Andre. Because, I feel bad. See, here's the thing. I get it that right now they're friends with benefits or whatever. But Andre has said it before that he wants to settle down.
Yes.
Yes. He and he and Danny have gotten to this place where they have fun together. They like each other's company.
Yeah.
How long ago was the divorce? That because Bill and Haley are obviously already married, so I mean,
he's looking for more. But I understand her being in a place where she's just not willing to give herself over, especially because, now she's trying to
go
find
public
her new,
because of the age issue or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. I mean, you got Nicole, you got the age difference. You've also got the fact that she's just trying to set off and do this thing with Pamela, and try and establish a career and establish. I mean,
she just wants to have fun.
She just wants to have fun, which I totally get. And, but it did break my heart a little bit seeing Andre just kind of, well, I'll leave you to it, I guess. And then goes to the bar and sees Ashley. And it's just like, well, okay, writing's on the wall here. We know what's going to be going down.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, just like Cyndi Lauper said, girls just want to have fun.
Yeah. But Danny and Andre are so cute when they have fun together. That's the thing.
Yes.
I ship them very hard. So it's like, but I will, with Ashley though, it's like, okay, get her out of Derek's orbit. Let's see what, let's see where that's going to go. Let's see where that's going to go with her character too. And, just, it's good to see them at least kind of breaking out of, because I was talking previously just how they were kind of on their own little island, and now they're getting off that island, and it's good. It's a good thing. They're getting more, kind of involved with, the mainstream stuff that's going on. So I'm all for that. But, just an interesting way to kind of, go about it. Them, not being able to live in the same apartment. That's like, Yeah.
So we mentioned it a bit earlier, but we're going to go to the what the fudge moment of the week. And Kim did mention it earlier, but it's the fact that Ted gave Ava a picture of herself.
Why? It just made no sense.
Her birthday. And I mean, I can understand where he's coming from, because this is a professionally done portrait at their...
Oh, it was a beautiful photo, yeah.
It was at one of the parties or whatever. So he wanted to give it to her, but I liked the way that she came back and said, listen, I was living a lie at this point.
Yes.
I was trying to, and I like how she explained that she was trying to get between him and Nicole. He wanted, she didn't, like, you didn't know I was your daughter at that point, yada, yada, yada. I liked that. And he's like, we could take a new
what
picture.
It sparked, but it was a very weird way to, I'm sorry, if I was like, long lost dad, celebrating birthday, I'd be like, then you hand me a picture of me, I'd just be like, I don't know about this, bud. I'm not really sure what's going on with this here. But yeah, it did lead to that conversation, which was, really, really good and really, good dialogue for the two of them for sure. So
yeah, no, I really liked it. Because it's but still to give her a picture of herself is just insane. But I did like
a picture
that
of the two of you, maybe. Like, put like a picture of the two of them, like, hey, this is a nice photo. Me, photo of me and dad, something like that. Maybe I would have, but just okay. Thank you. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. I think we kind of covered just about everything that happened.
I'm trying. Yeah, I mean, we still had a little bit of, Joey debacle with Doug.
Oh yeah, that's Doug. Right. Joey is really getting serious on Doug paying him back.
Yeah,
knowing that he can't perform surgery.
Yeah, like he's not.
And I like the comment he made. I like the comment that he made to Doug. Why don't you go stand near them? Maybe some of their luck will rub off on you. When Danny and Pamela were winning.
Yeah. And one other tidbit too. Yeah. Just I don't know. Even with Doug, you have him just kind of zooming in, zeroing in, lasering in on Vanessa, and then you get Doug coming in and just being all like, hey, yeah, this is about our kid, as a ruse to kind of. I liked that moment. I liked him, and I really did think that he was gonna in that moment just kind of confess, because she she got to bare her soul to him and have her moment where she just said she felt so much better. Now all the cards are on the table. I love that line. And then he just got Doug just staring there. Still his cards, not on the table yet.
Have you seen the Discord online on Twitter regarding Joey's Casino, where it's literally just the card table? There's no slot machines. There's nothing
very
else.
Minimal. Yeah.
Like, it's
not like
the casinos that I've been
into, and I haven't been to that many, but even so.
Well, it also makes it seem like it's meant to be an illegal type of casino.
Yeah, it looks like it's taking
in the back of a bakery or in the back of a laundromat or something to that effect.
You kind of see on like The Sopranos or something. There's something happening in the back room.
Which is why he has to pay off the dirty cop Marcel to.
Who we haven't seen in a while. Someone mentioned that. He's kind of like, he came in kind of hot, and then all of a sudden he's just kind of, haven't been seeing too much of him lately.
We haven't seen him. We haven't seen Jacob's father, the chief of police, or.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. Yeah, it's like they got all like these threads, and they'll get teased back into eventually, I'm sure. But it's just kind of they kind of make a big splash with these characters, and you're just like, ooh, what's gonna happen? But
exactly.
Yeah, no, just interesting. It looks very just. Yeah, this isn't a proper sort of casino environment, but it seems to draw the attention. I mean, you did have like the scenes even with Mona and stuff. When she finds Ava and just people find their way there.
Yeah. I like that they used Mona a little bit more over the past couple of weeks.
Me too. I hope that continues. I think that she, just has this presence that I really like, and she's obviously got sucked into this whole Ava Leslie mess because just for being a good person and just for befriending this woman through church and just vouching for her, and now it's just I want to see more of that. Just because she had every right to just confront both of them the way that she did, and I just want to see her you just be like, nope, you know what? I don't like you, and I'm going to expose and root you out for what you are. It's just I appreciated that so much. So,
and by the way, just to let everybody know, the What the Fudge moment of the week is brought to you by What the Fudge Homemade Confections in New Haven, Connecticut. If you are in the New Haven, Connecticut vicinity, go to whatthefudgect.com or facebook.com/whatthefudgect. You could see what they're offering this week. It's a rotating flavors of fudge that are offered. Now, because it's made in a cottage kitchen, she's not able to ship. But if you're going to be in the New Haven area, you live in the area, or traveling through, put in order, figure out a place to meet up or whatever, and you could have your fudge. She just recently came out with her fudge cake with the birthday cake flavored fudge. Looks absolutely delicious. But yes, go ahead again, whatthefudgect.com or facebook.com/whatthefudgect. Try some fudge. It's delicious. All right. So I believe, let's see, I'm trying to think if there was anything else that we haven't gone over. I mean, obviously, Haley and Bill are still talking about getting pregnant. We saw
had Tomas and his tattoo reveal.
Yeah,
learn a little bit more about him. He was a Navy man.
Yep.
So little layer there.
I don't get the hate that Tomas gets. I think Tomas.
I think
doing
he's
a great
little.
job.
I think the actor, he's definitely found his. I think, he does share a certain chemistry. I still say with Ava. I think the two of them have a little bit more of like kind of that flirtatious sort of sexy spark. But I appreciated the scenes today with him and Kat and previous ones with the two of them. And, like, I still appreciate the fact that, like, the taking it slow, their relationship, his, I'm cool with the character, and I think he gets a little bit too much flack, but at the same time, it's like, I wonder if they're going to kind of test the waters. Obviously, you got Ava, you got Kat, you're going to have that rivalry. I could see them still kind of, him being pinned up against, the two and just trying to navigate that. So, but I was interesting seeing a little bit more layer to his character for sure. I thought.
Agreed.
And I can't really. I'm trying to think if there's any other kind of points that we're forgetting. Or
I think we've pretty much covered just about everything. But working overall, I like the way the show is going. The pacing is going very well. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the new Ted yet. It might grow on me, but I still feel like Maurice Johnson just had that aura about him. But either way,
it's interesting seeing like a recast in real time, just kind of seeing it like play like that. So yeah, just, take some adjusting, take some getting used to, but I'm here for the ride.
Yes, I agree.
Tuning in every day still. And I'm excited that it, obviously with the renewal and everything like that too, like, people are excited about this show and I am too. And I can't wait to just, it's just become part of my routine. And I appreciate that more than I can say.
Mine too. And we'll let everybody know where they can find you.
So I am Misfit8690 at Twitter, and I am a little Misfit. Can't speak. A little Misfit 52 at YouTube. So feel free to check out my channel there. There's just fan videos and what have you, and also some streaming content from these platforms and this channel here. So feel free to hit me up and chat about soaps, TV, whatever.
All right, fantastic. And as always, you can find me at Vinny Suds on Twitter or at Suds Media on Twitter. You can go to my Facebook, which is Vinny Suds. But definitely go to suds-media.com for everything, pettyprattle.com as well for Angela, and I'm going to be writing for them, and Kim is going to be writing for them as well. So check that out. You can check out Angela on writing articles for parade.com as well. So check it out. Thank you to the 69 people that are watching live right now, whatever destination that you are watching it on. But we are going to be back next week. Next week is Memorial Day, but we'll be back for Suds News and Gate Crashers live here as always. So, folks, for Kim and Angela, I'm Vinny. We will be back next week as we crash through the gates of Fairmount Crest. Have a great night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.